All right, this is part two of my series on the famous newspaper report, UFO reports from 1947, after the Kenneth Arnold UFO sighting from June 24th of 1947, and then of course the Roswell incident as well. So, but more specifically, after Kenneth Arnold saw his sighting on June 24th, then everybody started seeing a bunch of flying saucers. So these are the newspaper reports that followed that Kenneth Arnold sighting. Basically, there was a huge uptick of sightings starting July 24th of 47, and it kept going on for months. So it's really interesting. This is part two of that. So let's see what this newspaper clipping says here. So this is from July 7th, the Mexico Evening Ledger from Missouri. Planes alerted to chase down coast reports. San Francisco, Associated Press, July 7th, the Army Air Forces alerted jet and conventional fighter planes on the Pacific coast in hopes of chasing and explaining the mystery of the flying saucers, which in 12 days has challenged the entire country. A P-80 jet fire at Muroc Army Field in California, and 6 fast regular fighters at Portland, Oregon, stood ready to take off on an instant's notice should any flying saucers be sighted in those areas. Some of the planes carried photographic equipment. A cautious attitude marked both official and scientific comments, but Captain Tom Brown of the Air Force's public relations staff in Washington acknowledged that the Air Forces had decided there's something to this and had been checking upon it for 10 days. And we still haven't the slightest idea what these discs could be, he added. So there's a bunch of discs flying around in the air that people are seeing. Like I said, it first started on June 24th, 47. It was seen by Kenneth Arnold. And then, like, a whole bunch more were being reported. Like Flight 105 thought they saw the same, like, discs. And then the Rhodes sighting in Phoenix, Arizona. First sighted, says here first sighted June 25th, but it's actually June 24th, and greeted generally with scornful laughs. The objects have been reported every day since by observers in 33 states. Most of the objects were reported seen July 4th. A few were reported yesterday. Competent observers, such as airline pilots, said they had seen the unexplained discs and saucers, larger than aircraft and flying in loose formation at high speed. David Lilienthal, chairman of the Atomic Experiments, and Army and Navy officials also entered positive disclaimers. Well, could they be coming from outside this country? Turning to the State Department, a reporter asked whether anyone inside or outside that agency is investigating the possibility the objects originate with a foreign power. Lincoln White, State Department press officer, said he didn't know of any such inquiry. Captain Brown said, "We don't believe anyone in this country or outside of this country has developed a guided missile that will go 1,200 miles an hour, as some reports have indicated. We aren't engaged in any tests or experiments that might explain this mystery, and we don't know of anyone in or outside the government who is. Our guided missile scientists are as puzzled as we are." So, that's another clipping here. And then here, still July 7th here, the Elyria Chronicle Telegram, Ohio. Army pilots failed to find trace of flying saucers. Army pilots were ready today for another air search for the mysterious flying saucers, now reported seen in 31 states and parts of Canada, as practical jokesters added to the confusion. Equipped with telescopic cameras, 11 Army planes searched the Pacific Northwest yesterday without finding any trace of the flying discs, which had been reported over scores of communities the preceding 2 days. At Sioux Falls, San Diego, a Coast Guard plane already in the air was ordered to investigate a silvery disc with a short tail, which Gregory Zimmer said he saw shoot across the heavens. The pilot found nothing, though, but empty sky. Okay. A silvery disc. The Army camera patrol over the Cascade Mountains yesterday included 8 P-51 pursuit ships and 3 A-26 bombers. There was growing belief that the concentrated aerial search would show the saucers to be optical illusions or the work of practical jokers magnified by aroused imaginations. The Reverend Joseph Brasky, a Catholic priest of Grafton, Wisconsin, reported that a metal disc 18 inches in diameter with gadgets and wires around the hole in the center crashed into his yard with a mild explosion. He announced that he was holding it for the FBI, but after close examination found the lettering steel, high carbon, 100% steel, and decided that it was a circular saw blade. A number of discs whirled over rooftops in East St. Louis, Illinois, yesterday. J.T. Hartley, a locomotive engineer, gathered some of them up and found that they were made of pressed white paper, 11 inches in diameter, and with a 2-inch hole in the center. Railroad workers said that they looked like locomotive packing washers. A radio announcement that discs were flying over Lewiston, Idaho, yesterday sent hundreds into their yards for a look. Weatherman Louis Krizak said the objects were moving eastward with the prevailing wind and probably were weed seeds. 3 air transport pilots agreed. Weed seeds? Weed seeds? I don't know about that. A Birmingham radio station was deluged with more than 400 calls in 1 hour by people who said they saw fluorescent balls circling over the city and clearly outlined against nearby mountains. A carnival at Alabaster, Alabama, was playing searchlights on cloud wisps. An argument raged at Lodi, California, over the cause of a spectacular glow in the sky and a roar shortly before electrical power went off. Mrs. Smith, W.C. Smith, said she heard a noise like a four-motored bomber just before the lights went off at dawn. Irving Newcomb of the Pacific Gas and Electric Company offered the explanation that a low-flying crop dusting plane probably struck a power line and burned out a transformer. However, no planes were reported damaged, and no one could explain what a crop dusting plane was doing in the air at dawn on Sunday. It was the first time any noise had been attributed to flying saucers. J.U. Watts, Jr., from Darlington, South Carolina, an attorney, said he saw an Army pursuit plane chasing a V formation of flying saucers at 250 miles an hour, 3,000 feet high. However, no pilot reported such a chase. Meantime, authorities were plagued with reports that bordered on the fantastic. An excited Chicago woman reported that she had seen a flying saucer with legs. I was standing on my porch and thought for sure it was coming right down and slap me in the face, she said. George Cougar of Denver said he saw a flying disc with an American flag on it. Francis Howell, Tempe, Arizona, claimed he saw a saucer 2 feet in diameter disappear behind a row of trees near his home. When he rushed with his wife and another couple to inspect it, he said the flat, thin, aluminum-like disc took off at a high rate of speed toward Phoenix, 9 miles away. Okay. Skeptical scientists recalled the mysterious rockets seen over Sweden last year. I wonder what that's all about. 80% of the ghost rockets proved to be meteors, okay, and 80%. And Swedish officials said the other 20% could be discounted as pure imagination. A London dispatch described the saucers as America's answer to the Loch Ness Monster, the legendary sea serpent, which is reported seen at intervals in a lake in Scotland. Dr. J.S. Nassau, director of the Warner and Swansea Observatory at the Case Institute of Technology at Cleveland, said that he was inclined to think the reports are fancies. Okay. So, let's see here. Let's see what the next report is. Okay. Still on July 7th, from Idaho, Twin Falls Times, the 190th Fighter Squadron of the Idaho National Guard will send flights of P-51 Mustangs into the air every afternoon and evening in attempt to photograph flying discs in the sky, Captain James Trail said today. Trail, operations officer for the squadron, said the Mustangs would be equipped with high-speed movie gun cameras. From 6 to 12 planes daily will scour the state from Boise northward to the Canadian border, Trail said. Okay. And we'll end there because there's a lot more to go on. That's just part 2. But we'll be coming out with a lot more. This is just part 2 of it. If you haven't watched part one, definitely watch part one as well. And the Kenneth Arnold sighting videos that I have on here, definitely check those out if you're interested. And I will be back with more of these here soon. Thank you for watching. And as always, any comments or thoughts that you have, let me know down below.